What's going on, guys? Clone Force 23 here, bringing you another Set 3 Twilight of the Republic deck tech. Alec here, aka Roger Mack, joined, of course, again, brother Alex. Say hello to the people.
But of course, welcome.
Who we talking about today?
We got some magic here with Darth Tyrannus himself.
Darth Tyrannus. We're talking about Count Dooku. This is the other deck that I was super excited about for Set 3. Kind of the one of two big token spam decks that really kind of popped out at everyone, of course, to begin with. And we are again bringing you two deck lists for this leader. One is going to be a little bit more balanced built. One of them is going to be a little bit more gimmicky, of one of my favorite cards in the set, if not my favorite card in the set. And yeah, so if you guys like the video, feel free to like and subscribe. It is completely free, helps us out a lot. Otherwise, let's get into it.
Yeah.
So first, we're going to be talking about Dooku balance. So it's Dooku Blue, and immediately with Dooku, I was like, oh my gosh, all my 5-cost units cost 3. They're my turn 2 plays.
Absolutely.
And blue is the only one where you get 2 of the new turn 1 plays that when they die, they create a token, which is the Wartime Official and the Confederate Courier. It really is just odd to me that there isn't just one in each color. I feel like that would have been fine. Because like Dooku isn't the only one who does stuff with droids and sacking, but he is the one that probably makes the most sense. But yeah, it's just kind of odd to me that blue and green got one, and then red and yellow just didn't. I don't know. Doesn't really make sense to me, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of new cards to talk about in this deck. I think this is the deck that has the most new cards out of all our Set 3 deck techs. So we'll kind of skim through here, but the point of the deck is all of your turn 1 plays are basically meant to be exploited and gain value off that, except for my boy Poggle the Lesser, who's the GOAT. So there is technically 11 turn 1 plays in the deck, but really there's 13 because of droid deployment. So your droid deployment, you think about that as another turn 1 play. Create 2 battle droid tokens. That's like almost better than playing any of the other things that make a droid token. So that's great. So yeah, the point of it is you're cheating out big units in this deck. And this is really kind of a soft control deck, if anything. If you look at it, we're not playing all the typical blue-green villain stuff. We're playing Power of the Dark Side, we're playing Fellow Dragon, we're playing OB. That's it. Everything else is kind of new, unique, separatist stuff for the deck. And so your ideal lineup here is you're playing a turn 1 play that creates a token, and then you're usually using Dooku to tribute the token or the unit to play either of the 5-cost separatist units, which is the Devastating Gunship, Kraken, and the Patrolling AAT, for 3 resources, which are all super good value. It just depends on the situation. Then everything else is just kind of tempo from there of playing more big guys for free. You can play the Malevolence on turn 3 normally, which requires at least 3 sacrifices. You could do 4. You could also play the Count Dooku unit from set 1, which is a separatist, which is a really cool thing to kind of look back at and go, okay, in set 1, we had a card that fits into the set. So you can play him for 5, who's a mini takedown when he's played. So it's like not having to play takedown, you can play the Count Dooku unit. And then it's all just kind of great, like, villainy control stuff on top of that. The big thing is, like, drawing those pieces you need is very important in this deck. I've actually loved patrolling Y-Wing come into the deck. Like playing a unit that draws me a card when I play it, and then it's just going to get sacrificed. It doesn't need to provide board value, it just needs to be a unit. So that's been a really fun card to kind of take off the shelf, the organizer. Like this card has never been played. Now it's like actually a really good unit to play. And then private manufacturing as well, because we're always going to have a token, right? So paying 2 to draw 2 feels good. At least it's keeping up with it. So yeah, so it's having a tough time against aggro. You really got to draw those key pieces. That's where the drawing comes into play, and the 3-drops come into play a lot in the aggro matchups. The droid commando can ambush into any of the turn 1 plays. Calculating Magna Guard is just always getting Sentinel because you're usually sacrificing a token for something. And then in the side, there is one card that has not made it into the main, but I think it will either be in the side for aggro or maybe make it to the main, and that's Subjugating Starfighter. This card's actually felt kind of crazy. A 3/3 for ambush. We can't play ECL, right? So we'd have to get on to Timely to have an ambush space unit. But you're going to have initiative in this deck versus aggro. They're going to want to be attacking with as much as they can. So you gain initiative, you sack something to play this for 2, and then you get a droid token because you have the initiative. Really good value in this deck. So yeah, that card's been surprising me a little bit. That wasn't really on my radar, but other than that, I mean, if you're not playing aggro, the deck feels wonderful. I love it. I love cheating out the big stuff. Love Count Dooku. Sometimes you just don't need to get to the 7 resource flip. I really wish that he didn't have Overwhelm and rather he had Sentinel. I think that would provide a little bit more benefit to the deck. It really just doesn't, like, okay, he has Sentinel. Or he has Overwhelm. I don't really know what that like benefits us, I guess, but it is what it is. That's what it's got.
Yeah, I think it's really exciting to see a leader with the new mechanic on there. I think exploit is still. So I think it's gonna. It's great. I think we're gonna see it a lot out of this new set for its value, and this is I think where you're gonna see it the most. Really activating those 5-drop units that don't traditionally have it, and Dooku makes them extremely viable. I think having the patrolling AAT on turn 3 feels really good. A 4/5 Sentinel to really just, I mean, that's like your ideal and what you're pushing for in a aggro matchup. To turn 3 have that just really disrupt that early play.
Yeah.
What I also like is just the colorless manufacturing card that just basically is going to let you draw 2 cards.
Right.
Which, like, you're not going to, it's going to be pretty hard not to have a droid token out in this deck. So just having, like you said, more of those options in your hand to continue on. What's almost funny about this is that, it might be ideal to have if Dooku were Sentinel, but he almost doesn't feel as impactful coming out because you've been dropping bombs so earlier in the game. It's like,
that's
okay.
exactly right.
I guess Dooku's out now. Cool.
It's because you have to play him on. You don't get to like cheat him out.
You can't
do that
exploit
with
his.
your leader. So it's like, oh, I guess on 7 I'll play a 5/9 Overwhelm. Like, I guess I'd rather play a 7/7 Restore 2 Space on turn 3. But okay.
Yeah. You just been having those crazy things and like kind of coming out of the out of the pre-release weekend, and like there were some Dooku decks out there and they were definitely fun, but now we're thinking about it and it's like, oh wait, I get to play Overwhelming Barrage now too. And it's like,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
I can't imagine, you know, yeah, you get your turn 3 Malevolence, and then you come around and deal 9 damage on Overwhelming Barrage that turn. Like that's taking out every problem.
Yeah, that's like the dream against aggro is the
It's,
7/7 restore 2 into OB.
yeah, like nothing's coming out of that alive.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
the yeah, the rant. I mean, DJ in there even too is like that's a great target for exploit, and it gets
Yeah.
additional value.
Yeah, it's like if your line is interrupted, he's really good. So like one thing that I've done is like depending on what I got, like sometimes I'll just play Poggle raw turn 1. And then turn 2 is play DJ and then use Dooku to play one of the 2 drops. Cuz then I end up with free
Oh,
resource and Poggle will create a droid token that turn and then I have the guy to sack to make a droid token. So it's like, okay, I didn't draw off my pieces, but like I'm setting up for the long. And I have now an extra resource, which means Dooku will come out soon.
mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
then in the later game, when Dooku's out, I feel like that exploit 3 is really gonna shine when you have that board to exploit 3 for a unit. You exploit 3, reduce the cost of something, and then still have space for your removals, like
Yeah.
in your resource row. Like, I'm gonna drop a Malevolence, but I'm also gonna play Fell the Dragon this turn. Like,
Right. Yeah.
like that's pretty tough. And if this
Yeah.
gets in the late game, like being able to drop a massive unit and OB, like that's a great way to catch up. That's a great way to deal
Yeah.
with something later on. Um, 7 cost you know that 7 in space is massive. I mean, short of your set 1 giant capital ships, it's dealing with everything.
Right.
Um, the invisible hand as well, like not as a big punch in space, but the battle droid tokens to just keep this engine going is
Yeah, that's
crazy.
like our win. That's like what you want to do off the Duker leaders exploit 3 because it has no exploit. So like the most
Mm-hmm.
you can get it down to with the Dooku leader ability is 6, which is kind of hard on 6 to be like just wanting to play that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's more so a Dooku attack, Dooku leader unit attack, exploit 3 and like replace the tokens that you just used
Yeah.
because you get 4 and then its ability is like actually kind of crazy to be able to swing and then deal like a bunch more damage because technically yeah it has 4 power but you're making 4 droid tokens which means if they're not taken out you're actually swinging for 8 damage with that unit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like that's gonna be a great card to like maintain advantage. That feels like a stronger like I'm punching down. Like that's
Yeah,
not gonna be the tempo swing, but it's like this is how I'm gonna confirm my win.
right, correct, yeah, that's like the win con kind of has felt like that card
Mm-hmm.
um in the deck versus really anything else. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
like.
kind of underperforming cards. Honestly, is like the battle droid escort. It just feels kind of weird. Again, you want to play like a 5 cost. I think Kraken is crazy. Kraken
Mm-hmm.
is like one of the craziest cards I think in this deck. Just like sacking a guy that makes tokens to play a guy that makes 2 tokens, and then you get another one, and then Kraken can buff the tokens on attack.
Mm-hmm.
He is actually crazy. Like
Yeah,
that's like your ideal turn 2 play.
yeah, and like you're saying, like you want your 5 drops to be your turn 2.
Yeah,
If you're playing battle droid escort, that means you're kind of not you're falling behind almost.
yeah,
And
it's weird.
the other thing is like the two drops that create battle droid tokens are like the ideal to start out with because even if they have a response, you create the battle droid token to just still play your 5-drop that
Right.
turn. I think there's a couple potential options to deal with if it's the V-Wing or droid deployments. Like, I think in blue would be like Disruptive Burst.
Yeah.
Which would be tough, but that's also just one color and one card that really has a response to this. So I think it's safe to be a little reliant on that 5-drop on turn 2 happening.
Yeah, I'd almost like 3 is like such an awkward thing, honestly, to be a separatist. I'd almost maybe take it out for maybe 2 of the. I'd maybe run 2 and 2 for the Sentinels, like 2 of the patrolling AAT and 2 of the Legionnaires, the super battle droids, and then like fill some other niche spots with something that I'd like.
Just lean into the 5. Like, just lean into the 5 curve.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I like this.
But sometimes it's good.
Yeah, sometimes. But I like this. I think this is solid. I think it could be a worthy day 1 sleeve up.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely fun to test. But even more fun is the next version of this deck.
Oh, yeah.
Which is my baby. Includes, like I said, I think it is. I think this card has cemented itself to be my favorite card of the set. And it's just something I completely did not even think about.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about the Separatist Battle Tank.
Thomas the Train.
Thomas. All aboard the Exploit Express.
Oh, yeah. This deck is so fun.
Yeah.
So, a lot of similar pieces, but the biggest piece is we're playing the Separatist Super Tank. So those of you who don't know, it's an 8/8 ground Separatist vehicle tank, but it costs 9, but is exploit 3, which means you can get this to 3 cost. 3 for 3 droid tokens. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And this could happen on turn 3, and so I saw this, and I'm like, an 8/8. Okay. Can't play ECL. We couldn't play it anyway because it has 9 printed cost. But we can play Timely Intervention, which means on turn 3, the 4 resource turn, we could Timely Intervention an 8/8 ground unit on the field.
Oh, man.
And I was like, all right, you sold me. We're making this like,
yeah.
So this is, I guess you could call it a more aggro version of the deck. I am on the Grievous unit in this version, and I am on Vanguard Infantry in this version, because on turn 1, you can play Vanguard Infantry and then tap Count Dooku to play General Grievous for 1, and then he's a 5/5 on turn 1. And that on the ground can generally hold off until we're setting up the tank. Everything else is pretty similar. I do have the B2 Legionnaires in this one over the tank. Again, I think I might just go 2 and 2. 2 of each, and then, I don't know, I guess side into whichever one I need, but I don't think that's necessary. But our big guy, our win con in this deck is absolutely the Separatist Super Tank.
Oh, yeah.
And I love, again, this is like, no one's like talking about this card, and I think this card is just absurd. Even if we're not Timely Interventioning this, yeah, I'll play an 8/8 on turn 3.
Just imagine.
I'll have the same HP as a Darksabered Sabine and more attack.
Yeah, I mean, and just imagine if your Vanguard infantries are the exploit targets, you're just buffing your train up. You know, get yourself a 10/10 on turn 3. It's like,
yeah, again, we're talking about the Malevolence. Seems great on turn 3. Well, how about an 8/8 into a 10 cost Overwhelming Barrage 5 resource play?
So it's
like everything's dead. Everything's dead on this build.
I mean, that's like, yeah. Great Dragon stats, turn 3. Cool.
Yeah, no,
cool.
Sure.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Do it again.
All right.
Do it again. Yeah, and it's just you still almost have all the token generation you do the the other build. So you've got the potential to just keep dropping them too if you have them.
Yeah, non-unique, by the way.
Yeah, like just
I'll have 3 of them on the field.
I mean, I'm just
24 damage.
it's easily, if you're not playing the control cards, this is easily 2 or 3 cards that are being committed to take care of this, and then you just play another one.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's that, and it's just almost like a panic for the other player too. It's like, well, that's not what I expected turn 3, and now I have to focus my efforts on this and not whatever
Right.
other strategy I had. And then you
This
still
is
have
like
such amazing options after the fact.
right. Yeah, again, it's like you play this. This is like almost the build I'd rather play against aggro because I'm playing that, and then they're just like, oh no, like this kills everything in my deck.
Yeah, like it's surviving even those those turn 5, those 5 cost
Right.
aggro players.
Yeah.
Your pose, and what Anakin is the new one now. Like it's dead. It's dead, and it's still on the tracks here.
Right. Yeah, the only thing that it is afraid of is like ECL Wrecker, but we're killing Wrecker. That's the thing. Like we are killing Wrecker back.
It's still
it's just a 1-for-1.
It's a 1-for-1, and they would have to burn a resource just to get that extra little damage.
Right.
That extra
right.
1 to make it happen. So
Yeah.
Again, still committing more than 1 card to make this happen.
Yeah.
Even on turn 6. So it's like,
right.
It's great.
Yeah, it's super fun. This one, like I said, I think is a little bit more fun. I kind of want to sleeve this one up first and just have the experience of doing the tank, and then after that, be like, all right, I'll be serious about playing Dooku once I take it to local Monday, and everyone will be surprised.
If anybody's got a Thomas the Tank playmat, just send it to us so we can play that out.
Yeah. Next PQ, I'm taking Thomas the Separatist tank.
Yeah. The unassuming conductor Dooku.
Yeah. Just him on the side of it. Someone's got to get like some crazy alternate art of like Thomas the Train as the Separatist train. Dooku's on the side of it with his lightsaber drawn, just like charging into battle.
There's just a couple like battle droids like hanging off the side of the train.
Yeah.
We love it.
That would be great. But yeah, that's a fun version.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free. I actually encourage you guys to try this out because it is very fun and no one knows about this card. Yeah, but if you have any questions, if you have any success with it, please let us know. Again, like the video if you can, subscribe to the channel. Let us know any other leaders you'd like to see. We are continuing our continuation of set 3. Other than that, Clone Force 23. Peace out.
Peace out.
Space Tech, Spaceports, TCG, Card Sports, of course, till my voice goes hoarse. Welcome, wrecking, decking with the strategy, the energy, it's Clone Force 23.